my energy. Oh, oh, it's my pain, it's my loneliness. 優しい夢は in your eyes 瞳閉じれば忘れはしない in my mind たとえ引き裂かれてももう一度この手に取り戻すまで安らぎの言葉に振り返れない Oh, oh, standing in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, give me my life, give me my energy. Oh, oh, fighting in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, is my pain, is my loneliness. Standing in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, give me my life, give me my energy. Oh, oh, fighting in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, is my pain, is my loneliness. Oh, oh, standing.
Goodbye and welcome. Welcome to an update after a long absence. I'm not dead and still alive. So the pandemic rages on. It's not going to go away, and it still might never go away. So daily cases have gone down. Daily deaths have gone down. But it's just the end. So I want to clear up a lot of things that people have been talking about the past couple of months. I still keep up with this because, it's the happening of our lives. Why wouldn't you want to keep up with this? I'm not going to put my head in the sand like an ostrich and ignore that this is happening. So, we had a brutal winter. December, January was like the height of this. I can tell you, living in Los Angeles, in January, there were so many ambulances driving by. It was ridiculous. A lot of people that I knew got infected. Oddly enough, I do not know anybody that died from this. I know people that got infected, mostly asymptomatic, a few that had some symptoms, but I do not know anybody that died from this. Coming from me, who lives in LA, that's kind of, I would have thought, because of how harsh it was, I would have known something, but I don't. But that's just my individual case. It doesn't speak for the majority. So the numbers are going down, but does that really mean that the pandemic is over? The answer is unknown because, as I said many, many times before, this virus is a coronavirus, which means there's a good chance that it'll join the pool of seasonal viruses, which this can come back every single year. Just like all the other human coronaviruses. That is a very high possibility. Now, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just fizzle out and go away. But there is a chance that can happen. So people must understand that. And we are not seeing any more increases as far as official numbers. So by the end of the year, things might go back to normal if this continues. Now, we never know. We never know what could happen. As for vaccines, the average person has no idea about vaccines. So the vaccine, all it does is it prevents disease. They're all 2 shots, except for Johnson & Johnson, which is 1 shot. You don't get protection till about a month after the last shot. So do not get infected during that time. And all it does is prevent disease. So you can still catch the virus and spread it. They are working on vaccines that can not only prevent you from being sick, but reduce viral load to such an extent that you can't spread it. But those are not out now. So if people tell you, if people are not wearing masks and they tell you, it's cool, I have the vaccine, you got to educate them that no, you can still catch it, you can still spread it, it just does not give disease. Besides that, the whole process of vaccination is a disaster. Israel, the state of Israel is in the lead of vaccinations. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought the state of Israel would be in the lead of vaccinations? The U.S. I think is at 6%, 7%. Now, there was a lot of conspiracy theories regarding vaccines, and I'm not seeing the type of deaths that people were talking about. I'm not seeing that. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, all vaccines have side effects. And then we do have rare cases where there are side effects. That's all vaccines. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that a lot of people were trying to attribute deaths to vaccines. And the problem is they did not read the reports. And I read the reports. And a lot of those so-called vaccine deaths were accidents, car crashes, homicides, people who were already like on the way to like death, who were just like 90 years old, 100 years old. They were. So when you're vaccinating millions of people, accidents happen. A lot of these people were already about to die, but there is the risk of side effects. There is the risk of side effects, and I'm not seeing, you know, a reason for concern when it comes to the vaccines. I'm not seeing that yet. Now, maybe we will. Maybe in the long run, maybe it could take years for it to have side effects. Because if you remember way back when I did a video on AstraZeneca, they became exempt from side effects in the future. So that kind of was an implication that maybe in a couple of years people might start to have side effects. We don't know. We don't know, but for many of us, we have no choice. We have to take the vaccine. So the first issue, distribution. There is no point to having a vaccine if they're all sitting in freezers and they're not being distributed. Second issue, nobody knows how long the immunity can last, because there is a high possibility that the vaccines could become a yearly thing because it mutates, like the common cold. Now, people are saying that, oh, there's this devil strain coming out. Keep in mind that the media, a lot of times, they want clicks. They want clicks, they want views, and they might make up some stupid title to something that they haven't even researched themselves. But, yes, this virus could make vaccines ineffective. But the flu does that too. And what they do is they modify the vaccines to the new variants that come out. But it's just a mess. It's just a mess, man. The whole process of vaccination is a mess. But the virus is still deadly. Definitely, you still gotta wear the mask. You still gotta social distance, because me and my family, we've gotten lucky. We none of us ever got infected, and we're in Los Angeles. We're like antibody test, like studies were showing that the majority of LA had it, but we played it smart, so we didn't get infected. But we didn't see the Super Bowl of Valentine's Day increase. We would have seen it by now. So it's not over yet. I do not know what's gonna. Like, I'm still not going out. I am still staying at home. I'm still not trying to go out. But it's just, we have to just be very observant, be very careful, because right now it's a decisive moment, because the experts are saying that herd immunity and the vaccines are causing this drop in numbers. And if we see another huge spike, that is going to be big trouble for herd immunity. That's going to be big trouble for vaccines. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen in the next couple of months, because this could blow up again. You never know. Now, the Spanish flu lasted about 10 years. Yeah, granted, the medical tech wasn't that good at that time. And you had World War I spreading it all over the world, which was brutal, This pandemic, as the great Eva Lee said, is minimum 2 years with an effective vaccine. We are about a year a year and 3 or 4 months into it. In 2 years, if this pandemic is still going on, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. But I'm just really curious to see what's gonna happen now. I'm really curious to see. So that's all I got. There are a lot of there are a lot of preprints saying things. We have to be careful with preprints because anybody can make a preprint. People will literally draw their own grass, as Kevin McCain pointed out when he was going down one of the grifters. So a lot of these preprints never got peer review, and they went nowhere. And the peer review itself is a conspiracy. There's a lot of shady things that go on peer reviews. Certain papers have been censored by the peer review. So the peer review is not the holy validator of papers. And I am disappointed. I am disappointed in Miles Guo. I am disappointed in Steve Bannon, and I'm disappointed in Dr. Li Menyang because they never delivered these revelations about the whole bioweapon coming from a lab. They never did. They never did. So that's very disappointing. We may never know exactly where this came from. We just know based off the info, the implications of where it could have came from. But just be very careful. Be very careful with misinformation. And I'm gonna be watching this like a hawk. I still do the same thing I did before. Research every day. Look at what the news. But for those that are like cheering the pandemic, I mean, there's a group of people that are cheering the pandemic, and you know, they probably don't feel very good right now. But we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. I will still be updating every now and then. I've been mostly occupied with another channel where I review anime and talk about random things that interest me. I've been pretty busy there, so I have not been on this account. But I will be back. Feel free to leave a comment. Tell me how you've been. Those of you who follow me, how are things with you? Everything okay? What are your thoughts on the pandemic? And all praise Svenanen. And I will see you guys later.